Wait.
Why are actors usually liberals, Democrats, or socialists? I'm a big film buff, and I'm very much into movies. I've seen tons of them in my life, and I'm very much into the history of the golden age of Hollywood. So this is an area where I'm also very interested in myself. A lot of people have always asked me about this and what my views were on this politically. So I've got a big interest in it. Yes, actors are usually very much liberals. Remember, in this video, I'm mainly just going to talk about actors as an entity. I'm not going to talk about corporations in Hollywood, so keep that in mind. It does change politically as you go higher up, in my opinion, in Hollywood. One of the reasons I think this happens among the many is that actors are artists, and they're artists in kind of a broader situation in our society. Actors are artists, and it comes with the territory. They tend to be more open-minded people, so they tend to be more liberal because of their profession. I also believe that liberals, or actors usually, are right-brain dominant, which means they tend to be more socially liberal, more open-minded, and because of their right-brain dominance, they tend to be more into liberal arts, activism, the arts, movies, independent film, those kind of things in general, which tend to be liberal professions. In this video, I'm going to get into other reasons why I think Hollywood or actors is largely on the far left politically. So here's kind of my summarization from a film buff. One thing that gets overlooked a lot in the media is that actors are all members of unions. The big union obviously in Hollywood is SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. Another big union out there that gets overlooked is Teamsters. There's many other acting unions out there. I don't remember all of them. I forgot some of the names. Some of them are new or relatively new, but they're out there. They're literally all in unions. So therefore they're pro-union. Who do the unions usually vote for? Obviously, usually the Democratic Party, going back to the beginning of basically time. There's been many famous actors that were president of SAG, such as Ronald Reagan, which a lot of people don't know. He was an FDR Democrat before he was a Republican. He was president of SAG way back in the 1950s. Melissa Gilbert of Little House on the Prairie fame was also president of SAG. So was Fran Drescher, to name a few. She was also president of SAG. Many people may overlook that or don't remember those facts, or may not even know those facts because a lot of it's not taught in schools. Another big thing is unemployment benefits. Actors can get unemployment benefits like anybody else, and they can get very generous unemployment benefits. In the state of California, it's a very liberal system. So actors, just by economic interest, yeah, they have some dependency on the government at a young age usually, so yeah, they're probably going to vote more Democratic because that's in their business interest in a lot of ways, just based on objective fact. In some of Laura Ingram's books, she actually talks about this issue a lot with unemployment benefits and why actors become liberals at younger ages in Hollywood because of it. I believe it's mentioned in her books, Shut Up and Sing, and it may also be mentioned in the book, Power to the People. I know for a fact it's somewhere in the book, Shut Up and Sing. It is in that book. I agree with some of her views on social issues. I do not agree with her on everything, but they're highly interesting books, especially the one about Hollywood. She thinks this has a lot to do with why the Hollywood left is so liberal. Keep in mind too, a political machine runs Hollywood, so actors can get brainwashed at young ages. Yeah, it's largely all one-party rule out there, just like it is in the rest of their state, which is California. Those are very liberal states out there on the West Coast, especially California. Even if people are conservative in Hollywood, and there are conservative actors, they tend to be more quiet, and they tend to be fearful of problems with their careers if they come out as libertarians or Republicans. There's also a lot of diverse religions out there. Hollywood has a lot of Christians, believe it or not, but there's also a lot of other religions. So it's by nature a very diverse area, especially since the 1970s. Hollywood in some ways is a different country, not completely. But in a lot of ways, it's a different state within a state. It's also a very urban area. Urban areas tend to be a lot more democratic politically. It just comes with the territory, folks. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it's always been. For example, in 1972, a lot of actors worked on George McGovern's campaign for the presidency. From a historical point of view, I actually also liked McGovern. I think George McGovern was great in a lot of areas. A lot of actors, including Natalie Wood, worked on his presidential race in 1972. They also thought he was great. Some of them were actually from rich families, which is quite shocking. It's just the way it's always been. There's been a lot of liberals as actors in Hollywood since the inception of Hollywood. I'm a big film buff, and it's been like that forever. You also have to realize there's a lot of marginalized groups that moved out to Hollywood about 100 years ago to start a new life in the way of a business out there. There was social prejudice against these groups back east or in other parts of the country, so they moved to Hollywood. That's one of the reasons you have a lot of Jews in Hollywood. You have a lot of Polish Jews and Eastern European people and people of other nationalities. That were people were prejudiced against them, so they moved out to Hollywood and became very, very successful in film. There's also a lot of African Americans that moved to Hollywood and became very successful in running businesses out there and acting. I believe Sidney Poitier was one of them among many other great African American actors and actresses. Some of them also get overlooked, unfortunately, in our society. But many Jews and Eastern European people moved out there because of social prejudice. That's a big factor that also gets overlooked by our media, in my opinion. So there's big reasons of this and many others why this happened. You've always had a Hollywood left, but there's big reasons why this happened based on objective data. A lot of it is social, in my opinion. It's social. That's why a lot of this ended up happening. Some of it could have been planned out, some of it may have been a fluke, but it happened. A lot of it is social. So that's why I think you have a big far left as actors in Hollywood. I think people can usually see the reasons for this when they actually look at what I am saying in some other objective data, especially since the 1970s. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration. I will see you again next week with more unique content and more similar content to this. Thanks again for your time. It's free to subscribe.